Today, the reason that clients do not hire you as a photographer. Is that grammatically correct? It's close enough. This month, I'm doing 30 videos on wedding photography in 30 days, from the best lenses for weddings to Facebook and Instagram ad templates, email scripts, pricing documents, attracting more followers, off-camera flash, and generating more inquiries. And above all else, how to make your business even more successful in an incredibly challenging year. So join me every single day this month for a brand new video. Welcome to the studio. It is a blue sky day, which means you will not see the usual clouds coming in and making everything dark and then getting brighter again, which kind of bothers me when I'm editing these videos. This fan doesn't move ever. Would you like to see this fan move? Vote now. You thought that it was just a prop, that we just stuck that to the ceiling. Also, you saw my cactus here too. It's a hidden cactus, secret, sneaky cactus. His name is DJ Khaled. Somebody named that in a video. I asked, what should my cactus name be? And they said DJ Khaled, so I forget who, but if you're still watching this, I appreciate it. Today, we're talking about the reasons that clients do not hire you to be their photographer. This is part of the 30 days of videos that are coming out to you. 15 of them on Instagram, 15 of them on YouTube, 15 of them in the members website. Yesterday was Instagram ads. You got templates, you got a little bit of a script. The time before that on the member site was the Facebook ad rollout. It goes into everything targeting. So you can get in touch with engaged couples within your local area. Also tomorrow on the member site, we're doing email scripts. So if you're a member, tomorrow the video is going to be about email scripts, as well as come with a bunch of email scripts that I'm currently using right now this year, because this year isn't quite a normal year if you didn't notice. But today though, we're talking about the reasons. I've already introed the video like 5 times. So let's just get to it. Reasons why clients do not hire you. I have a few here. Number one, I think, is the big one. If you watched on the member site, Book More Weddings 2021, the entire video, like all 45 hours of it, how long was it? It wasn't that long. It was pretty long. Pretty much all of it was about trust and the fact that if people trust you and they like you, they will hire you. If you have a lot of trust, they don't even really have to like you necessarily. They have to know they can put up with you on their wedding day, but they don't necessarily have to go like, wow, like this is my favorite human in the world. That if they have trust in you as a photographer, in your skills, and you can position that in a way on your website and in your social media that lets them it relaxes any anxieties that they have. You're gonna book a lot of work that way, regardless of how great of a photographer you are. That I feel like that's another struggle, that the level of photography in every local area is getting very, very, very good. So it's no longer possible just to compete on photography skill alone. So you have to get really good at music. No, you don't. Gear lust. Number one way, I think, to build trust in wedding photography is through social proof and the fact that you've been out there, you've been working. Even if these are shoots that you are creating for yourself, that you're setting up styled shoots at venues that are desirable places for people to get married, and you're out doing that work. In a normal year, I also kind of do this through my travel work as well, that this, I guess, scales maybe outside of just weddings specifically, that it goes into my commercial side of my business too, that to become a more desirable commercial photographer here in the city that I live in and to demand a little bit more money than the average photographer, if I'm out and I'm doing travel work specifically for a business, it doesn't have to be like in the beginning, it was I would go on Instagram and I would see who was doing cool stuff in the area. And say, for instance, I was in Queenstown, New Zealand, and I saw this dude playing piano, and I was like, I sent him a message on, I think it was Facebook. I was like, hey dude, I'm staying like 3 blocks away from where you set up it was a full like rolling piano. It was really cool. Can I come and do like a little video with you tomorrow? And I produced that video, and it was a lot of fun. And also it booked me a heck of a lot of work back here, because now I'm this dude that's like producing video content in New Zealand, and I'm from Canada, and that's a big deal apparently. Meanwhile, it was just something that I was personally passionate about. By doing things like that, you really just increase the level of trust. I know that's a bit of an extreme example that's maybe not attainable, especially this year, for anyone. But by working for places that are outside of your local area, assuming that protocols are in place that allow that, is something that really does reflect positively upon you in trust. I feel like the same goes for weddings, that if you're shooting not even destination weddings are a great indicator of trust. But even weddings that are maybe a 4 or 5, 6 hour drive away from where you're at, really surprisingly do a lot of good things for the trust in your local business. Also, the social proof that comes along with having testimonials and having images with, don't just put text up on your website like, hey, this person says something nice about me, Tessa D. Have an actual image of them, or speak a little bit about the wedding day, or integrate it into a blog post, or even better yet, if you're a member and you have access to all the pricing guides, come on over and put all of your testimonials into the pricing template. So you actually have this beautiful PDF kit that you can send out when someone inquires that both includes your pricing, because that's probably what they're after, but also includes a lot about your story and a lot about just your general aesthetic of what you think looks good, and also includes those testimonials and trust indicators to, again, remind them that like, hey, you do good work, people like had a good experience and you actually delivered their photos. As strange as it is, that's especially in the video side of things, like if you can be known as the videographer that just delivers things like really quickly in like 3 or 4 weeks, that's quickly, you're gonna get a very good reputation in your local area. I know a lot of video stories that I've heard that have been like, oh yeah, it's been a year since our wedding and we still don't have our final video. I understand, like as a video creator, like it's a pain to do a full video edit. That's why I actually don't do them. I won't do a 15, 20-minute documentary cut. I do highlights only, and it's simply because of the fact that I didn't want to manage that, and to do that in 4 weeks is kind of a pain. So that's out of scope of this video. Let's get back to the video. Social proof. Definitely a great trust indicator. As many things as you can do. I would say one easy thing to do, all of the reviews that you have, to just do a screenshot or a screen record of them and actually post them on Instagram as a story, like a little bubble at the top there, a highlight, so people can actually click through all of them. A lot of people, I would say for my wife, Lindsay, probably a majority of her couples find out about her through Instagram now. And if she has something like that, there are all the reviews that you can just easily click through. Now, all of a sudden, before they've even been to your website, they have a very good idea that they like trust you as a photographer, that you've done all this work for all these people, you've worked with all these venues and all these different vendors, and you've traveled a little bit and you've done some work and you exist as a real life human being. And now all of a sudden, it's very easy for them to hire you as a wedding photographer. I'm gonna hit up two weird ones right now. Maybe not, I don't know if it's that weird, but their vision from when they were a kid. So say for instance, I would say typically most of my couples, male, female couples, and that female is probably planning most of the wedding. They've probably grown up with a pretty good idea of what their wedding looks like. Maybe that's changed over time. They probably have a pretty good idea if they're going to be hiring a male or female wedding photographer. Like in their mind, they know like, okay, like for some reason, I just picture my wedding day looking like this. And that's a bit of a hard thing to break, that if I don't know where these ideas come from. Maybe the first wedding they ever went to, there was just like an older dude as a photographer. And then all of a sudden that is baked in their mind, and that they know that they're hiring an older dude as a wedding photographer, and they don't know why. That when they see that that's you on the website, they're gonna be like, oh, like this is our dude. And it's very difficult if you're someone like, if you're as myself getting in the industry, I'm like 19 trying to shoot weddings for like 25, 27-year-old couples, and it's a very difficult gap. There's no way they're gonna go from like that, the older person that they had in their mind, to hiring this like student. It's a very difficult gap to transcend, and it's probably not worth a lot of time to try to figure out how to do that. This next one, maybe a bit of a weird, touchy subject. I have verified this over my 15-year career as a wedding photographer, that this is a real thing that exists for sure. That if you're a female wedding photographer and you're an attractive female wedding photographer, and you're sitting down with a couple, and in the eyes of the bride that you're talking to, you are much more attractive than her, there's a pretty good chance that you're probably not gonna get that job. And that's a little bit weird, but unfortunately it is a way that people lose weddings. And then my last point for today is the general aesthetic of everything that you do online. That if you're trying to run this super high-end brand, and then all of a sudden you are doing something on Instagram stories that doesn't correlate, and it's going to really make a disconnect between somebody watching that's considering you to be their wedding photographer, or somebody that maybe you're already meeting with, and then they see something and it's just kind of that brief turnoff. So make sure that everything that you're doing, if you're trying to market a specific style of business, that is across your entire social presence. I know it's a bit of a bummer. Like I've always been like, oh, like I don't want to be my business 24/7. But unfortunately, if you want to be really successful in this business, it's so highly competitive that you do kind of have to go all in, and you have to work harder than everyone else. And that is one of the ways you can work a little bit harder than everyone else, is just kind of be in your business all the time. I would say that it's not necessarily a fake it until you make it thing, but when you start just being on your business in business mindset when you're on like Instagram stories, which maybe traditionally for you has just been for fun and for friends. At some point, maybe, I don't know how long it is, it's like maybe 2 months, 3 months, maybe it's a year. At some point that just kind of becomes what you do on social media, and it's no longer, it doesn't feel forced, it's not weird, it's just kind of who you are now. So sorry to just like completely change your entire persona and who you are as a human being on the internet, but I think to be really, really successful, it is something that's very important. I think that in the age of the internet and full transparency, it is so important to have a social presence out there for yourself and for that social presence to support what you're doing in the photography and the wedding photography space. So those are my thoughts for today. Tomorrow, we are getting into email scripts. So over on the member site, you're going to get some email scripts for initial inquiries and my thoughts on kind of what's happening in this, again, current 2021. So if you're interested in hearing that, please come over to the member site. You get instant access to so much stuff. It's a lot of stuff over there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again, I guess, 2 days from now on YouTube, tomorrow on the member site.